little different since I have it in this style now. Kind of like how I would do like my Dragon Ball videos, you know, a little bit my Dragon Ball talk about videos and all that other sort of stuff. A character discussion, but I wanted to kind of make my experience slash my brief experience or my small experience with the Nintendo Switch 2 and sort of gotten a new perspective while looking around on the internet, and this has been floating in my head for like a little while now, and I kind of want to talk about it for a little bit, you know, not spend like 24 hours on it, but I want to talk about it, you know, I want to talk about it, I want to spend some time on it, yada yada yada, you know, all that. Okay, whoa, did you get a new thing? That's kind of cool, I guess. But anyways, as I was saying, so as you guys know, for me, I still plan to get it, but the difference is that I know Nintendo Drone, or that I don't get. Okay, I ain't a Nintendo Drone. I got you, but I want to talk about that because I think this is kind of important to talk about since it's been a while since I've talked about the Nintendo Switch 2. So we're gonna go over to my YouTube page for a second so we can begin the discussion. Alright, perfect. So, about a week or so ago, I played Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like part 1, part 2 right here, my shorts, part 3, and 4 that you see right here. All those are made in the same day. So, I was in Walmart. I'm going to explain this a little bit more than before, right? So, me and my brother, we were in Walmart because Louis wanted a new headset, and it was Wednesday, and obviously Wednesdays are the days Louis gets paid. And for a minute, while he was checking out the headphone section, I decided to play the Nintendo Switch 2 because we had a Nintendo Switch 2 area over there, right? And back then, when I made my initial, like my experience with the Nintendo Switch slash all those my experience Nintendo Switch videos talking about the system, hating the system for its price and everything like that. Keep in mind, right, when those videos were made, it was before the Xbox Ally, it was way before the Steam machine, it was way before so many of these other consoles just started coming out of the woodworks and all that other mumbo jumbo. I mean, shit, I'm going to say this now, you can still get a Steam Deck and it still might be better than the Nintendo Switch 2 as just a system in general, but anyways, other than that, so I got bored and I decided to play it. And I only played like the Nintendo Switch 2 for like about a good, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes before I need to get off. Because keep in mind, right, like I don't want to sit there for the entire 15 minutes of a 15-minute trial on Bonanza and all that other sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that, you know. And plus, we weren't there to really play Donkey Kong Bonanza or do any of that stuff. And I don't think most people even, like, do that stuff with the Nintendo Switch 2. But anyways, my point is, right, is I played it so I could really talk about, like, my sort of experience with it, like how the controller felt, how the system felt, playing it, you know, after all this time of just not wanting anything to do with it, not wanting to be a part of Nintendo's bullshit, all that other sort of whatever, right? So, honestly, when I played, like, Donkey Kong Bonanza and all that other sort of stuff, I wasn't too particularly fond with a lot of the design choices they made in Bonanza, which, you know, with the skill tree and all that other sort of stuff, I wasn't too particularly fond of all that, but, and I don't know, smashing stuff was kind of cool at first, but as I played more and more of it, I can see that, wow, a lot of this is going to get numb really quickly because I don't know, that just how the gameplay is for me, you know. I'm more of traditional platforming type of dude, not just smash shit like a 6-year-old 24/7 would want to do, you know, all that other sort of shit. I don't know, it just felt kind of weird to me playing Bonanza. But anyways, that's not about that, it's about the system. I went into kind of sort of a DKC thing. But anyways, as I was saying, when I played it, I mean, yeah, the game just, it kind of, like, the Switch 2, obviously, and this is obvious, you don't even need my review to kind of, or my experience video to kind of go into it, but the Switch 2, for the most part, when I played Bonanza, just felt like just felt like the Switch 1 all over again, right? But it just felt like, I don't know, maybe like a little bit better. Like I don't even know if I want to say like a million times better than the Switch 1, because since I don't own the system, I can't really say it's like a million times better, because I only got to play the Switch 2 for like what, 7-8 minutes, like I said before. So not really all that crazy in hindsight, but with all seriousness, it's a little bit better than the Switch 1. But even then, I don't know if that's really necessarily worth the, I don't know. But this is what kind of got me right, like truly got me right. After all that time of me just not wanting to do anything Nintendo related after the price was $400, and then, or it's $450 for, well, I can't remember the prices, right? Like I think it was $500 like for the base, or it was 400 for the base with no games, and then it was $450 for the Switch 2 and the Mario Kart bundle, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's what it was. And to be real with you, right? To be completely real with you, at first, when I first saw the system, well, I'm going to do that video too, so that's happening. That video is happening, by the way. That video is happening. But ever since, like, the Switch 2 hate kind of died down, I saw so many people, like, making so many different types of Switch 2 hate videos that weren't even all that. I mean, yes, some of them are justified. Like, for example, like, re-throwing up the same games from the Switch 1 and putting it on the Switch 2, because they're Switch 1 games, and we want all of the Switch 1 library on the Switch 2, of course, so that way nobody isn't left out or whatever the fuck. But my point is, sorry, I'm going all over the place, and this video is not really the best, but what I'm trying to say is ever since, like, the Switch 2, like, hype died down, and a lot more people started to hate the system because of not only, like, the price of it, but because the games are lacking and all that stuff, which is completely valid, because Nintendo has, I mean, it's year one of Switch 2, and we've barely gotten, like, fucking anything, it felt like, for this damn thing. All we've gotten was, like, Switch 2 ports of, what was it, like, Jamboree, like Mario Party Jamboree, and a couple of others that got the Switch 2 port, and that's it so far, and then Bonanza and the new Mario Kart, that's it, which, honestly, if you hate Nintendo for the games right now, I completely understand that. That is still a justified reason to be hating Nintendo and the Switch 2 purchase, because there's almost nothing on this goddamn thing. It feels like the PS5, right? That's a valid reason to hate on it, right? But if you're just out here hating on it, right, for, like, no particular reason, just because you're hating it because everyone else is hating it, I feel like that's just not really the best move. And after I made a couple of Switch 2 videos, I'm actually proud of myself for just completely stopping, because I didn't, like, don't get me wrong, I hated Nintendo's decision to make this console so damn expensive, or way more expensive than what the Switch 1 was. I get that and everything. It makes sense to hate it and all that other sort of stuff, but some of these people have gone way too far in terms of hating it, and, like, going above and beyond with hating it. For me now, like, I hate the system. I don't want to be buddy-buddy with this system because of how much I love the Switch 1 and all that other sort of stuff, but I'm not over here making, like, 4,000 videos on it every single day just to stay relevant, you know what I mean? I want to move on from just the Switch 2 hate. Like, I get it. It's not as powerful as the PS5, which is another thing that kind of pissed a lot of people off. It's not as powerful as the PS5. And, what is it? Another thing that pissed a lot of people off is, since this Nintendo was supposed to be the, what's it called, system. It's supposed to be the cheaper option compared to Xbox and PS5. And now suddenly the Switch 2 wants to break out of that mold and be like, yep, we're going to be priced around relative to these guys. But now it's like, ever since, like, the Xbox Ally came out and there's the PS5 right there, I don't know why, but, like, ever since, like, the Xbox Ally came out, the PS5 still being $500-something, the PlayStation Portable being $200, but you need a PS5 in order to fucking use that bitch, and all this other sort of shit started coming out, it kind of made the Nintendo Switch 2 actually feel like a good deal regardless. Especially in terms of like the Xbox Ally. When that shit came out, which I think I have an image of it here. Let me see. Yeah, or no, that's the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck, which we don't even know what this is priced at. But for all we know, right, this thing could be priced way higher than the Nintendo Switch 2. And I already know people are not even going to bitch about the price of this thing or bitch about, like, oh, damn, this thing's going to be, like, this expensive. Like, dude, I'm going to buy it anyway because it's better than Nintendo. I'd do anything that's better than Nintendo. And it's like, we still don't even know the price of this thing. Now, if this thing is cheaper than the Switch 2, you're getting probably way more benefits with the Steam machine than you're going to be getting with the Switch 2. But I'm going to be real, right? And this is the Switch 2. Like, ever since the Xbox Ally, this thing came out at $1,000, bro. When I saw this, I think this completely changed my mind. And what I mean by that is like, this made me kind of flip my hate on the Switch to, like, not even wanting to hate it anymore in some way. Because how are you going to release a system, right, the Xbox Ally, for $1,000? I get it, you can play your Steam games, but also your, they're pretty much, this machine, the Xbox Ally, is basically another version of the Steam Deck, but way pricier, right? You're telling me this was $1,000 in terms of gaming, right? But this is only $450. Which one sounds like the better deal, right? And I remember after that system released, it made me just keep my mouth shut on Nintendo hate, and maybe hate Nintendo for other things, not just their systems. Like, for example, their lawsuits against other people and all that other sort of stuff and whatnot. Nintendo, you're still a hoe for those things, I can guarantee you that. But, and trying to sue Powell over the dumbest fucking things. I'm not even gonna lie. Nintendo, what is up with you for that? But like I said, my Nintendo Switch 2 hate started to really die down. Not once I got my hands on it, but once other systems started coming out that were way pricier than the damn thing. And now it kind of made my hate for Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of the price and Nintendo being greedy and everything, saying they hate their fans and whatever. And now it just makes me feel like, man, like, and I'm not just going to say I agree with the price or anything, but now the $450 / the $400 feels way tamer than the Xbox Ally and other things that are on the market. I mean, my brother spent $500 for his PlayStation, dog. Like $500 for the PS5, and that bitch barely had any games, like, the first year that bitch came out. Same as the Switch 2, but at least with the Switch 2, when you get it, not only you have all the Switch 1 games on it, but you also have a little bit of what Nintendo's going to be cooking up for the next fucking 10 years with the system that costs $400. And also, I know it's also, this is still another valid reason to hate Nintendo, the fucking virtual cards. I hate Nintendo for this too. I still don't like Nintendo for the virtual card thing that they're trying to do with Nintendo Switch 2. I don't like that. I would rather have most of their games just be, you know, like physical copies and cartridges like they had for the Switch 1. I'd much rather have that over the whole virtual card thing. But for me, I just want to get my new perspective on the Switch 2 out there. Honestly, getting this thing is not that bad now. Like, it's not that bad. The price is not even that bad. I mean, I would take the Switch 2 over the Xbox Ally. You know, 1,000 versus 450, what are you buying? You would have to be kind of an idiot to not think about just getting the Switch 2 instead of an Xbox Ally. Now, again, with the Xbox Ally, you are getting, like, most of the Steam library in that bitch, and maybe a couple Xbox games, but still, are Xbox games better than Nintendo games? That's like a 50-50 debate right there, but in my opinion, I've always been more of a Nintendo fan than an Xbox fan, and I don't even have a Steam account, so I don't know if I would really benefit off the Steam side of things and all that, and I just wanted to kind of make a new kind of re-experience / my experience on the Nintendo Switch 2, because these are just new thoughts that are popping in my head about the system, you know? I don't think it's... I still think it's valid for people to hate the Switch 2. Don't get me twisted, you know, for hating this damn system. But for me, I don't think I hate it nowhere near as much anymore. And as I once did, like when it was the new shit. Because when it was the new system on the market and they said it was going to be 450, I don't think I hate it as much anymore. Like as I did back then. I think I hate it a lot less now. And there's also a lot of people coming out that like defend the Switch 2 that aren't like that understand its flaws, right? But still like kind of bought it, but are also like looking back at some of what these Nintendo Switch 2 haters are saying and are kind of calling them out on their BS, saying, dude, you guys are acting a little ridiculous. And after seeing a couple of videos of those and, you know, my new perspectives on the Switch 2 and my getting my hands on it and all that other sort of stuff, it kind of changed, like, how I feel about it. Don't get me wrong. Again, there's still a lot of things I hate about this damn thing, like the virtual cards, games that are mostly being digital, and there's barely any physical games on this goddamn thing. You have to buy a download codes and all that other sort of shit for the system. I mean, I get that, but other than, like, that and stuff, I don't think the Switch 2 hate is, like, as bad. I don't think the Switch 2 is as bad anymore as it once was. Like, when it was the newest thing on the market, I understand. Drop that fucking price. Drop that price. That price is fucking ridiculous. You're supposed to be this type of console and shit. And keep in mind, right? People are saying Nintendo's greedy, right? And this is something that some people also have pointed out, but they say Nintendo's greedy, right? But the thing is, how much money do you guys think the Nintendo Switch 2 costs to make? You know, that's something I don't even think about sometimes. Like, and this can go with any system. This doesn't have to be with, like, just the Switch 2, but think about it. How much money is, like, Sony and all the companies, like, putting money into making these goddamn things? Sure, they're millionaires and billionaires and shit, like billion-dollar companies, but, you know, they probably spend millions of dollars to even get some of the specs, the tech, the hardware, just to build one of these goddamn things and to replicate it and to get it shipped out to different places around the world. That must cost a lot of money. So Nintendo asking for $400 without any games, just the console itself, ain't even that bad. And then $450 for like the bundle and shit, that's not bad either. But I would argue it is way worse for places that aren't in America, like Canada, where it's like 500 plus and beyond. That's way worse. I'm only specifically talking about where it is over here in America, where it's 400/450 and maybe 500 plus if you're buying games and all that other sort of shit. Like, sure, the price of this thing is a little steep, you know, when you think about it. Sometimes if you're a brokey like me, right, where I don't get fucking $400 flying out the woodwork 24/7, or I don't even get money like that. So $400 for me, myself, without like Lubid or anything, that's really expensive. But with Lubid, Jaw, I mean, he gets 300. All he needs to do is save up like 2 weeks. Like a couple of weeks worth of checks just to buy me the damn thing. If he really wanted to go there, he could do that, no problem. And it's not that bad. But the point is my new perspective on the Switch 2 is the hate is still justified, but I don't personally hate the Switch 2 as much anymore. And if every game is going to be $70 on the Switch 2, I still think that's a little bullshit. Like, for certain games, I still think that's bullshit. Like, for example, like Wonder or something. Like, or like Mario Party Jamboree with the extra shit, if I remember correctly. And all those other games, like them being $70. You maybe still keep those games at $60 and shit. Like, not every Nintendo game should be $60, $70. I mean, I think even Nintendo's, like, Donkey Kong Bonanza was still $60, if I'm not mistaken. So, there's still games on the Switch 2 that are gonna be $60 and stuff. So, it's not like every game on Nintendo's catalog are gonna be $70, even though Nintendo is probably gonna be asking you for $70. And I think even Sakurai even admitted at one point that it's crazy the fact that we're still charging y'all like $50, $60 for these games, and these games are in development for fucking years on end, and what's 10 more bucks, you know, like for a new game for you to play, you know what I mean? But at the same time, when I think about what Sakurai said, I'm sitting there like, $70 though? Not everyone's just gonna have $70 in their fucking pocket, man. That's why some people like go to like indies and all that other sort of shit, because they're so much cheaper. But anyways, I'm done. I wanted to just kind of talk about it for a little bit, make one brand new video, just kind of show y'all my new perspective on the Switch 2. What do you guys think about my perspective on the Switch 2? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Let me know down below in the comments down below with your perspectives, like when the video is actually uploaded, please, so that way we can kind of get a bigger discussion going. And yeah, I'll make sure to comment back to you when I'm about ready with that. Anyways, I'm going to go play some Overlane Tail and maybe some Team Sonic Racing just to check that bitch out. I don't know, maybe.